chains where companies are jacking up prices on gasoline or hotel rooms or food when people are suffering. You saw this under actually President Trump when COVID happened, and that was when inflation started to occur, was people were jacking up prices. Things in the global supply chain were challenged by the challenges of COVID, and President Trump, unfortunately, didn't have.
Donald Trump just can't focus. He can't focus on substance. He can't focus on policy. And he certainly can't focus on landing any sort of political attack. Donald Trump has been so all over the place with his messaging lately. And it's really just a reflection of both his grievance, anger, and cognitive decline that clearly make him unfit to be president. But the perfect example of that came today, in which Donald Trump went after the Fox propaganda outlet. Yes, something we see more from Donald Trump attacking those who tried to defend him the most, because VP Harris has agreed to an interview on Fox with Bret Baier, but that wasn't the only thing that sent Donald Trump into an absolute tizzy, absolutely spiraling out of control, taking those tiny little fingers, the truth, social, to type away his grievance. Vice President Harris's senior advisor, Ian Sams, appeared on Fox, someone we see make more appearances, and really just hitting home with the incredible message of the VP Harris campaign. And that sent Donald Trump so out of control. Like I said, he just had to post about it. And we are going to get into that meltdown, and we are going to get into that takedown from Ian Sams. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you want to join our channel, to hit that subscribe button and become a part of the community we are building right here. It really means a lot to me. Now, before we get into Donald Trump's meltdown and attack on Fox, which is pretty funny to see the civil war going on there, I think we should check out just a bit from Ian Sams' interview with Neil Cavuto right here.
If these polls hadn't tightened, would Kamala Harris be doing an interview with Fox right now?
Well, yeah, Neil, we enjoy coming on your air, and the vice president's looking forward to her interview with Bret tomorrow night. It's actually kind of a stark reminder that we're not really seeing Donald Trump do very many interviews. It's been about a month now since he did a mainstream media interview, and we got to wonder why. You know, we called this weekend for him to release his medical records. The vice president released her medical report from her doctor, Donald Trump's team. I heard him on your air last hour insisting that everything is okay and that there's nothing to see here. And your anchor rightly asked, well, if that's true, why not just put him out? And so I think that you're going to get to hear from the vice president tomorrow night about her vision for the country and what she's looking forward to presenting to Fox News viewers, including, for example, her proposal to make sure that seniors in-home care is covered under Medicare, a very important proposal to help people bring down the costs for seniors as well as their kids who might be taking care of an aging parent. And so these are the kind of ideas that she's talking about and looking forward to talking and answering, tough questions on Fox News about.
What took so long?
Hey, better late than never, right? I mean, we got 3 weeks to this election, and she's looking forward to coming on and talking with Bret. We've been on this network over and over again. We think that your viewers deserve to hear from the vice president and our campaign about the vision that she has to help bring down costs. Just this morning, for example, in the Wall Street Journal, which I know is a sister publication for your company, we came out with a new survey of economists who are saying 2/3 of those economists are saying that inflation would be higher under President Trump if he comes back into office. I hear the woman in Pennsylvania who was just talking about prices being too high. I couldn't agree more. Prices do need to keep coming down for the American people. And when you listen to economists who are talking to the Wall Street Journal, they're saying 68% of them say that inflation would be higher and prices would be higher if Donald Trump enacts his plans in office again. And so I think that we're going to keep talking about this economic choice in the race.
I should point out the Wall Street Journal, excellent publication. A lot of those same economists were saying some of his plans would ignite inflation. That did not turn out to be the case. But that's neither here nor there. I do want to talk to you a little bit back and forth on these presumed tensions that the campaign has with the Biden folks, with President Biden in particular. There's been all these reports that it came to fruition with this argument of whether Ron DeSantis was being helpful or hurtful. The president says he has great relations and has been working fine with the governor. Kamala Harris admitted that she never got to speak to Governor DeSantis during this, and there was a lot of tension. Is there tension between Kamala Harris and Joe Biden?
Well, I think first and foremost, when you think about tensions between a president and the vice president, you've got to think about January 6th when President Trump let his supporters chant, "Hang Mike Pence." And Mike Pence doesn't even support President Trump's
I
campaign
understand
this
that, Ian,
cycle.
but
Ian, they're making the point that I am so glad to see the VP Harris campaign making, because the mainstream media will not do their job. They lack journalistic integrity. And so while it was their fascination to talk about President Biden's cognitive ability or his cognitive state while he was having great success as president, as we see Donald Trump falling apart before our very eyes, for some reason, they won't talk about his decline, even as he runs from interviews and debates. So perfect there of Ian. And of course, the rest of the Vice President Harris campaign to make this point, to talk about it, to talk about how afraid Donald Trump is. And that clearly upset him because, like I said, he took to Truth Social and posted this insane message Trump wrote. How much time does Ian Sam, senior advisor to Lion VP Harris, spend on Fox News? He's now on Cavuto Fox's lowest rated show by far, and spent much of the weekend hitting Trump totally unopposed before two real beauties. Not exactly the next Walter Cronkite of the broadcasting world, Sams is just a below-average guy with memorized fake news, sound bites, almost all of which are wrong, but coupled with all of the other Harris radical left Democrat mouthpieces that Fox puts on Richard Fowler, Patrick Murphy, something Wolf, Jessica Tarloff. It has a very negative effect on the election. Trump also wrote this on Truth Social about VP Harris's interview with Bret Baier Lion. VP Harris has wisely chosen Bret Baier of Fox News to do a much-needed interview because he is considered to be fair and balanced, though often very soft to those on the cocktail circuit left. I would have preferred seeing a more hard-hitting journalist, but Fox has grown so weak and soft on the Democrats, constantly polluting the airwaves with unopposed comma. Representatives that it all doesn't matter anymore. Hopefully the people will understand on November 5th in early voting, make America great again. So very clearly, Trump not super thrilled with Kamala sitting down with Bret Baier, because unlike Trump, Kamala Harris actually does want to speak to and engage with audiences that traditionally will not hear from her. Because as we know, it's usually propaganda coming out of the Fox propaganda network, but he also took a pretty big issue with Ian Sams, who is becoming a reoccurring voice on Fox, thank goodness. We need a little bit more of the truth on there. Him being a representative of the Kamala Harris campaign, not giving him his full title, but I'm sure he doesn't actually care, because who would care about Donald Trump's attacks on you? But I want to hear more of that representative, because him and Neil Cavuto got into a bit of a sparring match on air that we saw a win from Ian. So let's check out more of that interview.
Hurricanes, where companies are jacking up prices on gasoline or hotel rooms or food when people are suffering. You saw this under actually President Trump when COVID happened, and that was when inflation started to occur, was people were jacking up prices. Things in the global supply chain were challenged by the challenges of COVID, and President Trump, unfortunately, didn't have COVID under control and let things get way worse than they should have gotten. And so that is what's helped lead to some of the challenges we see right now.
He left office with inflation at little more than 1.3%. I mean, so you could say maybe some of those problems were brewing, but you guys don't acknowledge that this serious stuff happened with you guys, right?
No, even before COVID hit, we were in a manufacturing recession under President Trump. And so
is there anything that you blame on yourselves? Is there anything Kamala Harris blames on herself that she screwed up, that the president screwed up, that if she acknowledged, the Americans are very forgiving people. They can see what's in front of them. And you're quite right to point to a strong stock market that's going into its third bull year. That's something you can peg to, and that's fine. But nothing that you look back on and say, we goofed.
Well, I think no leader is perfect, and at least with President Biden and Vice President Harris, they acknowledge sometimes when things could be better. Unfortunately, we don't see that with President Trump, including,
but she
for
hasn't
example,
done
him
that.
talking.
She hasn't done that. He hasn't. But Joe Biden hasn't done that. Is that the way it's going to be the next few weeks?
Well, I think in the next few weeks, she's going to be laying out her priorities for the American people if she gets elected president. I think that's what voters still want to hear in these closing few weeks. They want to see the difference between these two candidates.
They've been waiting a while, right? We're still waiting for those priorities, right?
Well, no, I think that voters got, for example, 70 million or so voters got to see on a debate stage the choice and the priorities between the two of them. Unfortunately, they don't get to see that again because President Trump refuses to debate. I wish that he would agree, and 70 million more Americans in the next 3 weeks would get a chance to see their contrasting visions for the country. But she's going to be out here on Fox News campaigning in Erie, Pennsylvania tonight, sharing her vision for the country and what her priorities would be. We hope that President Trump decides to kind of come on the air and answer some questions himself instead of backing out like he did with 60 Minutes.
Neil Cavuto, pretty upset that Ian Sams was just going back and forth with him, wasn't really prepared, and especially got angry. You can tell when it was brought up that Donald Trump doesn't want to debate, and he doesn't even want to debate on Fox. Let's just go to show how scared he is. But of course, Fox will do anything they can to protect their poor little baby, their little Donald. They'll make propaganda and excuses for him, and that is what Jesse Waters did in this clip that we're going to call out.
Else do we need to see? Honestly, we've seen too much from Donald Trump. We know exactly what he's going to do and when he's going to do it. He's now wiser. He's not going to then agree to a debate that's just going to have no upside. He smells a trap. It's not worth it.
The defense of the indefensible has just gotten sad from Jesse. I know it's expected, but of course it's always disingenuous, and he doesn't believe any of this. He knows that Donald Trump is scared. He even admitted after the last debate that he did not perform for well. So yeah, it's expected that Donald Trump is so scared that his staff has to shelter him because they knew if he actually spoke, it would be a disaster, as it always is. But because he won't, we have to continue to call him out, and we're going to every single day on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. We are going to be making the case every single day. We are going to be fighting the good fight, and I'm so glad you are around to do it with me. And until next time, I'll see you soon.